Toward the end of the Parsha of Vayeshev, we have the story of Yosef, who was in prison, seeing that the two stewards, who were servants of the king of Paro, that they appeared disturbed. And upon his inquiring, they both told him that they each had a dream. And Yosef interpreted the dreams for them. Now the steward of the wine had a dream that he was squeezing a cluster of grapes into a cup, and he served the cup of wine to Paro. The steward of the bakery said that his dream was that he was carrying 3 baskets of pastries on his head, and that birds were flying to the pastries and nibbling away at them. And Yosef interpreted the dreams as follows. The dream of the steward of the wine, he said, within several days, it will be Paro's birthday, and Paro will grant you amnesty and will restore you to your previous position. And to the steward of the bakery, Yosef said, in 3 days, Paro will sentence you to death. You will be hung, and the birds will nibble you from the gallows. Now, was this mere prophecy that Yosef had? Or did he see something significant in the dream? And there's a very interesting commentary on this. There's a story about an artist who entered his picture into a contest. And the judges went around looking at the various pictures, and this picture seemed so real that it was a man carrying a basket of fruits, and the fruits were so delicious appearing that birds actually flew and tried to nibble at the fruit in the picture. And so the judges said, this artist is exceptionally talented to be able to make the picture of fruit seem so real that the birds will fly toward it. And one of the observers said, no, this artist isn't good at all. He said, birds will never nibble fruit that is being held in a human being's hands, because like a scarecrow, they are afraid of the person. And if the bird flew toward the fruit, it means that the image of the man that they saw was lifeless, and the birds were not afraid of him. Now, what does that tell us? As human beings, we are primarily physical creatures, but we have a neshama. We have a soul which is part of Hashem himself, that he breathed into us. Now, the Talmud makes a very interesting statement that says that wicked people are considered as though they were dead, even when they are alive and functioning. And what the Talmud means is that a person can be alive as an animal and dead as a human being. If a person fails to exercise the powers of his neshama and just allows himself to be hedonistic and self-gratifying, not exercising the will of the neshama, then yes, he is physically alive as an animal, but he is dead as a human being. And so just as the artist painted a picture of a person who seemed so real, he could seem real, but he was lifeless. And what we must realize is that in our own lives, that being alive means more than having a physiological existence. To be alive we must function with all the capabilities that we have, particularly with the unique spirit that is within us. And this is a lesson of spirituality. A person who loses his spirituality or does not develop spirituality may be alive as a human being, which science refers to as Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens simply means an intellectual animal. The Torah attitude is that a human being is much more than an intellectual animal. A human being is a spiritual creature. And to be truly alive as human beings, we must be spiritual.